Notre Dame is out. Miami is in. Alabama is in. Two G5 teams sneak into the playoffs. We have chaos, controversy, snubs, and we're breaking it all down. This is the Nitro College Football Show. I'm Burl.
I'm Streit.
Like and subscribe if you love college football. All right, to start today, the final CFP bracket was announced at noon this afternoon. And let's just say there's a little bit of controversy there.
Just a little bit of controversy.
Just a little bit.
There at least at the top there wasn't much controversy. So Indiana claims the one seed after beating Ohio State. Maybe there's a little bit of controversy. Georgia, Ohio State at 2 and 3. Whatever. It doesn't matter. The reasonings that they put Ohio State ahead of Georgia was actually pretty dumb, but in the long run, who cares? And then Texas Tech, after their dominating win, goes in at 4. And those are the teams that are going to have the buys. And then that's where the fun starts. So
you're saying this is where the fun begins.
Yes. 5 Oregon, no qualms there. 6 and 7. So 6 you got Ole Miss, 7 you got Texas A&M, 6-7. But it's an interesting argument, right? Ole Miss lost early in the season. Texas A&M was this dominating team, lost last game of the season. Who's higher than who? Ole Miss is missing their coach, but they decided to keep them at 6 and 7. At number 8, Oklahoma. We kind of knew that was where they were going to slot in there. At number 9 is Alabama, which is interesting because they didn't get penalized at all for losing, like not even a spot in these playoff rankings. We know that they don't like to penalize people for losing conference championship games, and that's what they said, but BYU ended up out of this bracket. So, and yes, BYU got dominated, but Bama got dominated too. So to see them stay at 9 was interesting, I think.
It was. There's been a lot of talking out both sides of the mouths from this committee. It's like they pick and choose when head-to-head matters. They pick and choose around conference loser, how they handle those. Because if they were consistent, then you would have Bama and BYU in.
Right. But they haven't been consistent. Like, even watching the show on TV, it was kind of hard to see the guy, Reese Davis pushed him on some stuff, and he was like, well, I answered all your questions this time, but he kind of really didn't.
He never does.
Yeah, he never does.
Yeah.
So let's talk. So before we get into the real controversy at number 10, which is what most everyone wants to talk about, James Madison gets in at 12 by virtue of Duke winning the ACC Championship. We get a second G5 team in. So they will be another team that's coaches on the way out. They got to go all the way across country to Eugene. So that's going to give us a game. I think it's like a 24-point spread right now. And then at number 11, you had Tulane, won the American Conference. They are going to play Ole Miss, who, if you forgot, they already played this game once this year at Ole Miss,
and it was
which is
ugly.
Yeah, it was ugly. Ole Miss dropped them. So we'll see what happens. Obviously Ole Miss is missing their head coach now. But Tulane's head coach has also taken another job. Now he is sticking around, but he is heading to Florida after this run. So we'll see what happens there. But then we have the real controversy. Who got that last bid? And you had a number of teams who had their hands up, who thought it could be. Leading up, you thought it was pretty safe that it was going to be Notre Dame based on rankings that have happened over recent weeks. There was always this debate about Miami because they beat Notre Dame. Texas kind of threw their shoe out there because they had some good wins. Vanderbilt was making their claim. And then, of course, you had BYU who, lost to Texas Tech again. But at the end of the day, the U gets the bid at number 10 and goes into the playoffs.
Yeah, and it was really shocking to see that. So the big shockers to me, Miami getting in, Notre Dame not being in, and Bama staying in.
Yeah.
I was thinking that there was a chance that the committee was going to penalize Bama. I think if Bama didn't get the benefit of having the official make an awesome block on that touchdown pass, then maybe it wouldn't have because they would have been shut out. But they're still Bama. I mean, they do have a great resume of wins, but they have the worst loss out of everybody on in the top 10.
I don't
Um,
know. I mean, Miami's losses aren't great either, but yeah, you're right. There's that loss to Florida State probably is the worst loss, but they also they probably have the best win with Georgia, winning at Georgia. They've got
oh yeah,
that series where they had to play all those ranked teams 4 or 5 weeks in a row, and they won them all. Um,
yeah. But the big kicker in all of this, the fly in the ointment, if you will, Duke winning the ACC.
yeah, it's interesting because I, they asked the committee about that. They were like, "Well, Duke winning, did you feel responsible to have an ACC school in?" And they said no, but you kind of almost feel like that
Did they,
made
did they
the
say it like this? They went no.
I mean, you kind of feel like that made the case for Miami to get in. And yes, Notre Dame is somewhat ACC affiliated too. But I think at the end of the day, I mean, I think it just comes down to the head to head. It Miami
Yeah,
getting in is right at the end of the day.
which is good. It should. It's impacted many teams in the past. It impacted Georgia a few years ago, losing in the SEC championship and by 3 points after winning 29 straight games. I mean, so it happened. I'm glad that they at least made head to head matter, you know?
Yeah,
And
yeah. But they should have been doing that all along. Like that's the problem. In some ways, you kind of feel bad for Notre Dame because they felt comfortable, right? Like
oh
it wasn't
yeah,
a point.
they
And
were they were 9, 10, 11 pretty
right,
much consistently the whole second half of the season.
right. And they played really good football. I'm not going to lie. I think Notre Dame's probably one of the best 5 teams in the country right now, how they're playing. But at the end of the day, you lost to two other teams that are now in this playoff. And those were your two toughest games on your schedule. And results
Yep.
should matter. It doesn't matter. This is not an eye test thing. This is also a results thing, and the results should matter.
Yeah,
And
combination of the results and the rules,
right,
right? Is the rules is really what made this whole playoff bracket kind of screwed up
yeah,
because no disrespect to Tulane, James Madison, or G5, but this is not the year that they have a truly deserving team.
no, no. And the spreads already show that. Tulane's like a
Exactly.
17-point underdog, and James Madison is like a 22-point underdog. Like, are these game and Tulane and Ole Miss have already played. Like, is this what we need? Is this better? Is this what they've yearned for with playoffs? Inclusivity, is that really necessary? I don't know.
I no, no. I mean, if it at a minimum, like the bare minimum thing that they could do is just say, "Hey, take the top 12."
Yeah, doesn't matter. Just take the 12th.
Yep. Those. I mean, people still be arguing about that 12th spot, 11th spot, but you won't have goofy rules saying that you know highest ranked conference champions get in.
Right.
Now, if we were still on the old 4 team playoff, then you could get away with that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the only question is if Virginia wins that game last night and you've got Tulane as your 12 and Virginia as your 11, do you have Miami as your 10? I don't know. I guess we'll never know. But what we do know is that Notre Dame is not handling this well.
Yeah. So before we talk about that, though, I mean, do you feel that Notre Dame has been snubbed?
No, because they lost to Miami. If it was any other team getting in over them, yes. But because it is a team that beat them head to head on the field, no. Sorry.
I can't say I disagree.
Yeah. I mean,
I mean, it
that's
was
what it
settled
boils
on the
down to.
field. I mean, if they were to play again today, maybe my Notre Dame would probably be ranked or favored to win that game.
Oh, absolutely.
But
But Notre
when
Dame could have
when we're
fixed.
talking about a playoff, we're not once you're in a playoff, the best team isn't always going to necessarily win, but
Oh,
they
for
still get
sure.
to advance.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, Notre Dame could have solved this problem a long time ago and joined the conference. Sometimes you reap the benefits of not having to play that conference championship game and to name your own schedule and to collect your own money. This is one of those times where it bit you.
Yep, and that's a good segue to talk about how they're handling it.
Yeah, they ain't handling this well at all. So Notre Dame comes out today after all this. Marcus Freeman goes on online. Their AD is making all these statements and everything. And then they put out this statement on their official Twitter account that they are declining bowl invites, that they are opting out and they are going to skip bowl invites. Not directly saying it, but to stick it to the man.
Yeah, which
That
is
is such a loser mentality.
it's really weak and it's very disappointing because I'm a huge Marcus Freeman fan.
Me
I
too.
think I think most people are. He's yeah, I was telling my Notre Dame friends that Marcus Freeman has actually made Notre Dame likable for people who have not liked Notre Dame for a very long
Right.
time. It's just like so hard not to root for that guy. But this makes you think about it a little bit more because yeah, they put it was a team decision and yada 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 and all that stuff. But look at what Georgia did a couple of years ago. In that same season I was talking about a minute ago, getting left out of the playoff. They went and played Florida State, who also got left out of the playoff. Florida State did not show up to that game out of their, feels and whatever, which I hated that for them. They did get screwed. But
Yep.
Georgia showed up and they said, this is a chance to compete. And if you're going to play at this university, we're going to compete every
Right.
chance we get and not
Yep.
shy away from it. So I think it really sends the wrong message to potential recruits, but I mean, I don't know. Does that even matter anymore though? Like,
I don't know, but I think it's just dumb. Bowl practices allow you 15 more practices, which is always valuable to every team. A bowl game, even if you have a
yep,
bunch of opt outs, is a chance to get guys playing time. And even if, I know that's this whole thing. Oh, well, guys are just going to transfer, and oh, they're going to get playing time to just put tape so they can transfer to their next destination or whatever. It doesn't matter. Bowl games are part of college football tradition. I love college football for tradition. I'm a traditionalist in that sense. I love bowl games. I like turning them on when I'm wrapping presents or I'm, just around the house during the week of Christmas. And this makes me sad that one of the most storied and historied programs in the country is opting out of a bowl game. A program that has its own television deal, that has its own special rules that nobody else has, that has it
yep,
written in the contract next year that if the playoff expands to 14 teams and they finish in the top 12, they get an automatic bid into the playoffs. A
yep.
situation like this would not
That's
happen.
exactly what I was about to bring up. They were able to get that built in. So I mean, kudos to them. If you can get it, go get it. Great. But it's it's like okay, you're going to get an automatic bid pretty much no matter what you do because the schedule that you play is not going to be great. Um, although I mean they do try to schedule tough games. I mean, this year, Texas A&M, Miami
But it's
were
gonna
were
get
2
harder
tough
and
games.
harder with the SEC going to 9 conference games. It's
That's
gonna get
true.
harder and harder to find those games. People are not gonna wanna schedule them.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be shocked to see the Big Ten take on that, same rule
And
that the SEC does, where you have to play at least one Power 5 team out of conference.
yeah. I mean, it like I said, I just don't see how this helps them. I maybe it makes them feel better that they're sticking it to somebody, but to me, it just hurts. It hurts college football. You're gonna be without one of your premier programs at bowl season. It hurts the players on the team. Yeah, maybe they're a little butthurt about but not being in the playoffs, but for the young guys on that team and the guys who wanna come back next year, like, that's another chance to practice and get better and play.
Yeah,
And
I would expect them they'll still practice.
no, if you're not in a bowl game, you do not get to practice. By accepting a bowl bid, you get the chance to have 15 bowl practices. That is part of the NCAA rules. That's why it's always important to make a bowl game, even if you have a bad year.
Yeah, that's okay, then that's a good point. I mean, those bowl practices are huge. I mean, Kirby talks about them every
Right.
year,
Because
about how
because
important they are.
especially nowadays, guys are gonna transfer and stuff, so if guys are gonna stick around or you're trying to evaluate somebody and trying to convince them to stay, give them some playing time, like, I don't know, I just think it hurts their program, I think it hurts their national image, and I think it hurts the game, so, to me, I think that was a really, really, really poor move, and I don't like
Yeah,
it.
and it's spreading.
Yeah.
There's a ton of teams that are already opting out of bowl games. I mean, they're 5 and 7 teams that I mean, they're the ones that need the practice.
Yeah, I understand some of the 5 and 17 I understand them because their season if they've already sent their coaches home and they've sent their players home and stuff, it's hard to ramp back up because they didn't think they would be bowl eligible anyway. And but there were a couple schools that were bowl eligible that opted out. Iowa State and Kansas State both opted out. Now I understand they're going through coaching changes, but to me, this is we've been waiting on the death of bowl games. It's coming. I mean, this is writing on the wall, right? We've talked about the potential death of conference championship games. Soon we're going to be talking about the death of bowl games. So,
Yeah, yeah. I think Auburn was in that mix too, and
yeah,
it just seems to me that, these teams that are going through these coaching changes need to practice with their teams.
you would think, but I guess if their attitude is that we're just going to have a bunch of guys transfer anyway, what does it matter? Anyway,
Ah, fun stuff. That's what happens when you put a committee together.
right.
I tweeted today that, we're all Mike Leach and shared his old video about how everybody wants to be on a committee. It was
I miss
it
Mike
was good
Leach.
s I do too, I do too. Now that would have been an interesting commissioner of college football.
Oh, man.
That would have been. So, looking at the bracket, I mean, who do you think has the best draw?
Hmm. Who do I think has the best draw here? Probably Oregon. Oregon will get to play James Madison at home, and then they go play Texas Tech. And yes, Texas Tech has been great. Um, but Oregon is tested.
Yeah,
They played Indiana already this year, so they have seen what the best can be. Um, and then if they win that game, then they would get potentially a rematch with an Indiana school that they already played that they lost to, and they could potentially fix their problems. So I think that's probably the easiest track of the 4 teams that got by.
yeah.
Uh, Ohio State, man, getting Texas A&M or Miami, that's gonna be tricky.
It's tough.
Just the way that Texas Tech or Texas A&M played throughout the year and then losing that last game, that could be a tricky draw. So for Georgia, it's either you get an upset and you get Tulane or you get Ole Miss. So that first round game, I think Georgia lucked out. I think they probably got outside of being, uh, Oregon, they probably got a good draw there. But then having to face Ohio State in that next round, I actually, it's a little bit better being 3, I think, than 2 there because I think Ole Miss without Lane Kiffin is and a team that you've already beaten in the regular season might be a little bit better than facing a Texas A&M team who was undefeated all year and lost at the end.
Yeah, yeah. You could see a Texas A&M team come out and, kind of be like Ohio State was last year. There's that
Absolutely.
possibility exists.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what if Miami somehow advances to the semifinals and plays Georgia? How wild would that be?
That'd be pretty wild, though it won't be based on how they lined it up, it won't be in Atlanta. It'll be in the Fiesta Bowl. So, you know.
Yeah, that's interesting. That number 5 spot last year and this year seems to be the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Getting, I mean, number 1, number 2 seeds. I mean, they have really tough draws, no matter what. Like even Indiana, whoever wins between Bama and OU, which great, another rematch.
Right. Oh, yeah. I mean, we've got 2 regular season rematches already on here. Um, and then you could potentially see, Georgia Ole Miss in the second round already as a rematch there in the second round. So,
Yep. Oregon, Indiana
yep,
rematch.
yep,
That's what happens when you start expanding the playoff, though.
yep. Oh, you're absolutely going to see it all the time.
And that is just a fact of life. All right. So what'd you think of championship weekend?
I mean, I think it was, I think it was fun and enjoyable for me as a Georgia fan. Um, I think I missed on dang near all my picks. um, but just we'll talk detail. But Indiana, Ohio State defensive battle with 2 great defensive teams. Georgia showing up, and winning. Big 12 went well. I thought, overall, there were some upsets here, but the more focus was getting to Sunday. The results, other than getting BYU out, really didn't do that much to the field, other than BYU out and letting James Madison in.
Yeah, the biggest, I guess, effect on the playoff rankings was Duke winning the
Right,
ACC,
right.
which your boy predicted
Months
weeks
ago,
ago.
yeah,
Street thought I was losing my mind. And I was like, no, it could really happen. And I'm like connecting all the dots. I got the yarn and the string like going to different places.
oh yeah. So, well, let's get into it. Why don't we dive into the conference championship games a little bit?
Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. So let's start with the big one. Number 1 versus number 2. I figured biggest matchup.
Yeah, Indiana is your Big Ten champion for the first time since 1967 in a match that these are good offensive teams, but man, their defenses really showed out.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
That was a common theme in the Big Ten and SEC championship games.
yeah,
It was all defense, not a ton of offense.
yeah,
And honestly, that's to be expected. It
right,
in the cases that we're looking at. I mean, Indiana and Ohio State are like 1 and 2 on defense.
yeah, and the tone was set in the first quarter when both of your Heisman Trophy candidate quarterbacks, who've hardly thrown any interceptions all year, traded interceptions in the first quarter. Um, Ohio State, was
Yeah.
able to get their only touchdown of the game there late in the first quarter, and then after that, Indiana just stopped them. Um,
Yeah. What was interesting is um, Julian Sands was only sacked 5 times during the whole season. And he got sacked at least 5 times last night.
yeah,
I mean, if that's not an indicator of how good this Indiana defense is, I don't know what it is. And credit to Signetti. I mean,
Talk just trash, man.
he's figured out the algorithm, man. I mean, he definitely doesn't spend his time recruiting high schoolers at
No.
all.
Well,
But
you got to
they
remember a lot of those transfers though that he brought from James Madison initially. So, um, but yeah, he's figured it out, man. He,
yeah, but their scouting in the portal has
yeah,
been top notch.
yeah. When they finally did take the lead there in the third quarter, that touchdown pass to Elijah Carrot was beautiful. It was a beautiful play, beautiful touchdown. But then Ohio State had its chances there in the fourth. Indiana bowed up, man. First, it was stopping them on that fourth down, around the 5-yard line. And then, Ohio State got the ball back and they had this epic drive, 15 plays, 81 yards. An Ohio State kicker pulled one wide left. Oh, we've seen that before.
What is it about Ohio State and kickers for game tying or game winning in big games? Wide
Yeah,
left.
but this one, I mean, the one against Georgia a few years ago was like a dang near 50-yarder.
Yeah,
This
it
is
was
a
a long one.
this was a 27-yarder. Like the look on the fans' faces, I mean, just. And then let's not forget that, that there was still time on the clock and
I,
Mendoza on
I,
that third down.
I think the guys that Pat McAfee gets for the kicking contest would have done better.
Yeah. But they needed that third down and he hit Charlie Becker one-on-one on the outside. Just a gorgeous pass, took advantage and they got the clock down to basically nothing. Though the final Hail Mary pass of the game was caught by Jeremiah Smith. Now it was at like the 40-yard line.
Yeah, and actually, speaking of Jeremiah Smith, that was amazing that he still caught it. But play of the game, Jeremiah Smith catches a deep pass from Julian Sayin. Looks like he's going to have a walk-in touchdown, and the Indiana defender just gets his arm out there on his leg, and he falls down. And they keep him out of the end zone.
Yeah.
That, in my opinion, was like the play of the game.
Yeah. Little plays, man.
Yeah, little things. Game of
In a
inches.
13-10 game, the game of inches. So Indiana wins, man. First time in a long time. And Ohio State, Ryan Day, I still don't think he's never won the Big Ten.
No.
So he's won a national championship. He's had all the success, but he is now 0 for 6. I guess the first year, 2020, there was no Big Ten champion because they only played like 5 games. But yeah.
Well, maybe next year. It's like you get one out of the 3 each season for Ohio State. You're either going to win a national championship, beat Michigan, or win the Big Ten.
Yeah. Well, and they'll start probably be the favorite to win this playoff overall. So let's not get too far ahead.
Yeah. So one of the things that was in the back of my mind watching this game was, is Ohio State holding stuff back?
Nah, there was nowhere they were holding stuff back, but their defense has held Indiana, who averages like 60 points a game, to 13. So their offense is not as good as their defense. That's just what it is at the end of the day. They don't have enough consistency in the run game. They have these awesome receivers, but
That is a huge luxury, just being able to throw it up to Jeremiah Smith
and Carnell Tate, yeah.
and Carnell Tate. But credit to Julian Sayin, though. I mean, he puts it on the money.
Yep.
He's damn good.
All right. So next, Georgia absolutely puts Alabama in the dirt. Exercises the demons, beats Alabama 28-7. Georgia is your SEC champion for the second straight year, for the third time in the last 5 years. And it is Georgia's first time winning the SEC back-to-back in the SEC championship game era. It's also their first time winning back-to-back SEC championships since they won 3 in a row between 1980 and 1982.
Awesome. I mean, just a great game by Georgia. We talked about it last night. I probably rambled a whole bunch just because it was late and I was excited. But great game by the defense. It, they really should have gave the whole defense the MVP
Right.
of that game because if
Everybody was
Georgia,
making plays.
yeah, well, Georgia's deep on all three scoring drives that Georgia had, it was because defense and special teams got Georgia in plus position.
Right. Right. And even the last one, Alabama went for it on its own 12, fourth down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was wild. I don't know why he did that. The game was not out of reach at that point. Like they could have punted, got some field position, and had time to still win.
I mean, I guess you figured you only had one drive in the whole game where you pretty much crossed the 50 at that point, and you needed two 15-yard penalties to do it and a crazy play where guys couldn't tackle. Like, I guess he just figured, you know what? This is it. This is our last chance. Like, we don't do it here, we're not doing it. And he just gave up. But like I said, the one thing that I want to set clear about this game, I don't want to hear any excuses from Alabama fans about the injuries, about the penalties, none of it. Georgia got 8 penalties in this game. Alabama got 1. And there were some questionable calls. Yes, Alabama was missing all these players and had injuries. Georgia was too. You know, we were without Drew Bobo, which we thought was going to be a problem. Malachi Tolliver, hats off to you. Played a hell of a game. We were
Yeah,
missing.
seriously, shout out to Malachi Tolliver.
Yeah.
Hell of a performance. Georgia's offensive line in this game, 3 true freshmen.
Yeah. But I mean, let's look at it this way. Even outside of that, Georgia was already missing Colby Young. Well, Noah Thomas couldn't play. He had back spasms for the game. He didn't play. Janelle Aguero didn't play. So Georgia was missing a total going in this game at the beginning of the season. That is 5 starters that were missing in this game. So I don't want to hear from Alabama fans that they were missing all these players and they're going to be back and that's going to make them so much better in the playoff. You haven't been able to run the ball all year. No excuses. You got your ass kicked. There's no if, and, or buts about it. The Georgia defense played lights out. It was amazing. This Georgia team that was much maligned early in the year held Alabama to -3 yards rushing, which is insane in and of itself. But what's even better about what Georgia did on defense, 3 sacks, which has been, a problem. Georgia had 18 quarterback pressures in this game. Ty Simpson was pressured like crazy. Georgia has fixed its quarterback pressure problem.
It really has. I mean, so many players have improved. I mean, Zay Walker coming on strong, Quintavious Johnson. I mean, we saw some guys just making some big hits that
Rashawn Dinkins.
Dinkins, yes,
Dinkins.
that's yes.
I didn't even know who
Dinkins.
that guy was until about 2 weeks ago, and he made some
Yeah,
plays in the Charlotte game, and I'm like, Rashawn Dinkins? Okay.
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, this was such a hard hitting game on both sides. I mean, I felt for Ty Simpson. He was getting his ass handed to him.
He absolutely was. Georgia, I love that Georgia was as much as you can be. You talk about balance on offense. Georgia was balanced on the defense in this game. The right mix of good defensive plays in the secondary, the right mix of solid tackling by the linebackers, quarterback pressures, sacks, everything you can possibly imagine. Georgia pretty much did well in this game. And
Yeah, and
let's get. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, and probably you were probably about to say this too, but you got to give Kirby Smart and Glenn Schumann a ton of credit because where this team was the first time they played Alabama was a very raw team. In that game and up until the end of the Ole Miss game, we saw a team that was very poor tackler. It was an epidemic at in the beginning of the season.
Yeah,
That has changed. This has
absolutely.
become a very good tackling team, and they're now making those plays where you have a corner DB or linebacker taking on, some back or wide receiver out in the flat one-on-one and making that play.
Yep. And the last thing I want to shout out on the defense here, 2 guys. Number one, Dalen Everett continues to be, you know, championship game MVP, getting another pick after the 2 picks last year against Texas.
Big game Dalen.
Big game Dalen. And then let's talk about Georgia's future All-American in the secondary, Ellis Robinson.
Oh my gosh. Are you going to say it?
Go ahead.
Is it going to be?
Go ahead.
Is there going to be an Ellis Island in the future?
I think we have Ellis Island because the dude makes plays. He gave up 0 catches in this game on 3 targets against him. He had whatever it was, 25 plays in coverage. And this is a guy, yes, he was rated as the number 1 player in the country out of high school. Didn't play much last year. People were like, oh, he should transfer because he wasn't starting. He said, no, you know what? I needed to develop. Earlier in the year, had some struggles. This guy has come on. Let's not forget he's the SEC leader in interceptions this year.
He has made a huge hit in the first series.
And right at the beginning of the game. Tackling, defense. Ellis Robinson is the star, the future star of the Georgia defense next year.
Absolutely. I mean, you got to be really excited about this team this year and next year.
Absolutely.
Great chance for Georgia to compete for a national championship this year, and we'll probably even have a better chance next year.
Yeah. So then let's talk a little bit about a couple of guys that we hadn't really heard called that much this year who made 2 big plays kind of right back to back. First was Cole Spear getting the block on the punt, which was awesome. Kirby had called it out. Special teams are so important.
He pretty much on game day told DeBoer that was going to happen.
Yeah. And then after that, Georgia punches it in on a touchdown to Roderick Robinson, guy who's been hurt so much in his career. It was just great to see him get a touchdown, just to see him in there. He finally made his season debut, I think, against Charlotte. He hadn't played all year long. This was a guy, that came from California and had all these crazy stats in high school. I was glad to see, him get that touchdown. And that was just a good catalyst for Georgia throughout the game. As you mentioned,
Georgia going old school, running fullback.
Right. Right. But I mean, the offense in this game, some people point and say, Georgia offense wasn't that great. And I know we've been critical of Gunner. We were critical during the game because it seemed like he didn't want to throw the ball down the field. Quite frankly, he didn't, but he went 20 of 26. I think the command, and I think once Georgia kind of knew they were in control on defense, the command was, hey, if it ain't wide open down the field, you don't throw it.
Yeah. And after, I was critical of them last night, but also praising them. But after sleeping on it a day and really thinking about it, you think about what does Gunner bring to the table that makes that offense go? It's not that he's lighting it up downfield with huge numbers at all. It's his leadership.
Right.
It's his leadership that he brings such a hard-nosed mentality and grind and all of that to the quarterback position. And to find out that during the week he called up Tolliver, Mekhi Tolliver, and taking snaps, doing whatever they could to get comfortable.
Right.
I mean, that's leadership.
Gunner is the type of person who, when you talk about leaders, he is the type of person who would never ask you to do anything that he wouldn't do himself. And that on the football field, that means he wouldn't ask you to take a hit that he wouldn't get in there and take himself. He wouldn't ask you to go stick your nose up there and block that he wouldn't do himself. And there was an interesting play early in the game, and it kind of, I don't know if you caught this on the broadcast, but I did because they pointed it out. Gunner completed a pass to Branch out on the side. And when they it was either Branch or Bell. And when they tackled him, Gunner goes running down the field. And you thought maybe he was pissed or something, or whatever. No, it was because Gunner went and ran down the field because he was worried that there might be a fumble. And the ball kind of came loose after the guy was on the ground. But Gunner was sprinting to the ball. Like most quarterbacks, after they throw the pass, they're just sitting back there. They're not running 8-9 yards down the field to check on a fumble. But that's what Gunner is. And that's what he's done for this team. The mentality is just totally different than what it was last year. and the pieces around him have played so well. This was a good game for Dylan Bell. Happy to see him get a touchdown. Him coming on with Noah Thomas out. We needed him in there. Zachariah Branch continues to be amazing. I mean,
He's a cheat code.
I, I,
Absolute
lo-
cheat code.
I love after the game that Tyreek Hill was tweeting at him, and I just responded to both of them. I said, "Game, recognized game, man." Like,
That's awesome.
um,
My favorite moment though of the whole game was during the victory formation, and
I mean the triple.
yeah, you kind of froze up there for a sec. Anyway, yeah, so victory formation. It's Dylan Bell. Who were the other two? Anyway, two other guys. They jump
Humphreys,
up and do.
it was Dylan Bell, Humphreys, and somebody else. Yeah,
Yeah, it
it was
was
great.
hilarious. It was good stuff.
So
But yeah,
like I
great
said, this
game.
was a great effort from Georgia. The offense was exactly what it needed to be. I love seeing Nate Frazier get that walk-in touchdown with Humphreys taking out the guy. That was great.
What a block! What a block by
Yeah,
Humphreys.
yeah, it was great. So
And
Dogs win.
gosh, I
Yep.
I felt for Nate Frazier because that first half I thought Gunner was going to get him killed.
Twice. God.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hung him out to dry. But
It was funny because Nate, after he got his bell rung there, he gets up and gets his helmet on. He's fine. He's like, he turns around to go back on the field, and they're like, "No, you have to come out."
yeah. So overall, great game. Georgia is your SEC champion again. They are, at least defensively, the hottest team in the country. I'd be scared to face them, even if I was Ohio State or Indiana, because Georgia has proven with this game, with the defense playing like this, they don't even need to use the offense in a way that they have in the past because they've proven they can beat you with offense. They did it to
Mhm.
Tennessee, they did it to Ole Miss, and they didn't have to in this game. If you can hold Alabama to -3 yards, I don't care if they're all hurt and whatever. It's still Alabama. It's still the one or two talent team in the country. You hold that, you can do it to anybody.
Yeah, and the history
Absolutely.
there for Georgia. I mean, Bama's been the boogeyman.
Right. There's no complexes anymore.
Nope. So here's to hoping that that was the moment. We moved on from that, and we don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yep.
It was a great night. Great to be a Georgia Bulldog.
Indeed.
All right. If you're watching us live, thank you so much. And hit that like button, share this video, hit the subscribe button, tell your friends, be a friend. If you love college football, subscribe to the channel. We're here every week. We'll be here every week in the off season. We've got some stuff planned or planning, or we'll make it up as we go. I don't know. Whatever Street wants to do.
yeah, yeah. All
But
right,
yeah, hit that subscribe button.
for sure.
Big 12 championship. This was ugly.
Yeah, it was very similar to their game earlier in the year.
It started out good, but once Bear Bachmeyer got hurt, it was
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, I mean, they had a great scripted opening drive, 14 plays, 90 yards, that ended in a touchdown. But from then on, Texas Tech said, "Nah, their
No,
defense just put them away." Like after that first drive of the game when they had 90 yards, and that was at the very beginning of the first quarter, they had 124 yards the rest of the game with one field goal attempt. That was it. Like they didn't even come close to doing anything the rest of the game. They had
yeah,
4 turnovers. Like
the defense was what it's been all year. They did exactly what they've been doing all year.
yeah.
So now it'll be interesting to see how they fare against non-Big 12 teams.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. They're probably going to get Oregon that second round. That'll be interesting. Once again, though, this game, 34 points, good score, but this is all about the defense for Texas Tech. And my guy Jacob Rodriguez had another great game. He had 13 tackles, but it was really his fellow linebacker that shined in this game. Ben Roberts, who got knocked out early in the game, came back in, was the MVP, had 2 interceptions, and Texas Tech just, put the foot on BYU, ended their season. BYU as a consolation prize gets to go play the Pop-Tarts Bowl. They get to go play Georgia Tech in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. So that should be fun. But
Yeah. Pop-Tarts Bowl, that's still the best bowl game.
yes.
You don't want to play in it, but it's still the best bowl game.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Texas Tech with this experiment of buying up a roster and building it around these players you had, they've always kind of been controversial for that. And somebody was interviewing Jacob Rodriguez after the game, but I really liked what he said. And he was asked, you've got this roster of all these bot players. What does it mean? He just said, if we're going to buy a team, why not buy the best? Why not? Like,
it works for the Yankees.
It works. So
it worked for the Dodgers.
Right. It's the attitude that they've got. So Big 12 champion Texas Tech. I think it's the first time in school history they've won the Big 12. So it'll be fun in the playoffs. They are going to be a force to reckon with because that defense is tough, just like Georgia's, just like Indiana's, like Ohio State's.
Funny comment. Go Gators 34-96. Notre Dame scared to play BYU in the Pop-Tart Bowl.
They were supposed to go play. Notre Dame was slated to go play in the Pop-Tarts Bowl, I think. So Georgia Tech got their spot.
Notre Dame, they missed a huge opportunity there. I mean,
Yeah.
I think there were going to be even more live Pop-Tarts there this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And who knows, there might be more resurrections.
More eating. More eating of dead bodies.
I mean, how great would it be for them to have Pop-Tarts being resurrected for the Catholic school team?
Against the Mormons.
Against the Mormons. Oh, my God. It's perfect.
I mean, this was the holiest of holy wars, right? We missed it.
I mean, come on. Huge opportunity missed right there. God.
Yep.
Yeah, we might have had to do a live stream for that.
We did like a whole show in the Pop-Tarts Bowl last year itself. We didn't talk about bowl games other than the playoff games except the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
It was a good game, though. It was a good. The bowl games last year were all pretty good.
Yeah,
they were all super competitive.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll see.
All right, last one we got to talk about. Chaos reigned in the ACC Championship. Duke 27, Virginia 20 in overtime. This is Duke's first outright ACC championship since 1962. And this was a good season for Virginia. They were picked 14th in the conference. But at the end of the day, Darren Mensah, man, Duke spent money on him and he came through. And it looked like they were going to win this game really easy. They were up 10 points with about 5 minutes left. Virginia gets a field goal. And then with their backs against the line and a playoff shot on the line, they went on a 10-play, 96-yard drive that was capped by a touchdown pass.
It was a thing of beauty.
Yeah. So, I mean, they were fighting hard to get that playoff berth. Hats off to Virginia.
Farting hard. Yep, they were.
Yeah. But overtime, Duke gets a touchdown. And Virginia on the play gets a penalty that Duke scored a touchdown. So they got to start at the 40 instead of the 25. And they tried to run some double pass junk that got intercepted and the game was over. So.
Yep. I was very happy that my prediction came true. They don't always come true. But if you pick enough, they're bound to happen one day.
And Duke's reward for winning its conference championship but not making the playoff, where are they headed? What bowl game are they headed to?
And it was a really good season for Virginia.
Yeah.
I mean, to go 11-1 is a great accomplishment no matter what. And I'm surprised that we're not hearing more about their head coach and going somewhere else.
Yeah, Tony Elliott. Where is Duke going? Oh, Duke is going to play Arizona State in the Sun Bowl out there in El Paso. So, anyway,
Duke should have played in the Duke's Mayonnaise Bowl. Another missed opportunity.
in state. All right. So that's the end of the big conference championship games. Let's you want to run through the G5 real quick?
Sure.
So
G5 actually had a huge impact on the playoff.
they got 2 teams in the playoffs.
Crazy.
Yep. So the first one, the American Conference Championship, Tulane 34, North Texas 21. Future Florida coach John Sumrall will have to continue to work double duty while his team plays in the playoff. And interesting to note that Jake Retzlaff, who got booted out of BYU, now makes the playoff while BYU misses the playoff.
Yep. It's an amazing thing. I honestly do not like that there are 2 G5 teams in the playoff this year when there are teams like Notre Dame and Vanderbilt, Texas, that would smoke them.
It was bad enough last year when BYU got a home game and a bye. Or not BYU, I meant Boise State.
Boise State. But at least for Boise State, they were undefeated and they were a legitimate playoff team.
Yeah.
That them getting a bye was just another product of stupid rules that these people have put together as a committee.
Right. So yeah, so then our other G5 team, James Madison wins the Sun Belt 31-14 over Troy. Running back Wayne Knight, Newman, Georgia grad.
Yeah.
James goes for 220 yards on just 21 carries. So huge night for their running back. He's got like 1,500 yards in the season. He's a pretty good running back. So they get to go into the playoff also with their coach who is leaving to take the UCLA job. They got to go play in Oregon. I was like, well, they lose up there in Eugene. He can just not drive all the way back or not fly all the way back across the country. Just go head down to LA and start his job there at UCLA. So 2 G5 teams.
Not a bad idea.
Nope. Other G5 games. So wanted to shout out the Conference USA Championship, Kennesaw State. That's 20 minutes up the road from me.
Hey, the state of Georgia was 2-0 against the state of Alabama this weekend.
Yes. So we had 2 Georgia schools win a conference title. But this is impressive for Kennesaw State. This is only their second year at the FBS level. They moved up from the FCS level, and they were 2-10 last year. So to come in, win a conference championship, hats off to them. I know their coach is off to another job, but good job for them. Mountain West, Boise State 38, UNLV 31. So Boise State wins in their last year in the Mountain West Conference. They will be moving to the revamped Pac-12 Conference, which returns with 8 schools next year.
So this was really funny. My daughters were asking me about the different conferences, and they're like, why are they called the Big 10 and Big 12? And, you know, you have the SEC and ACC, you know, they don't use numbers. And I was like, well, the Big 10 actually has like closer to 20 teams, and the Big 12 is like 14 or 16. And then you have the Pac-12, which is just 2.
Which is just 2. And next year will be 8. But at one time it was the Pac-10. And it was called the Pac-10.
It was. So that was fun.
And then the last conference championship game, MAC, Western Michigan 23, Miami of Ohio 13. Well, at least one Miami one got into the playoff and had a good weekend, but not for the Redhawks.
There went my pick.
So that wraps up conference championship week. Obviously, the playoff bracket was the big thing, but I think the last thing we want to touch on tonight, after all this mess happened, who's going to win the Heisman Trophy next Saturday night?
Great question. I mean, it seemed like the Big Ten championship was going to be a battle for who's going to win the Heisman.
Yep.
And maybe that's still the case, but in my mind, I think the Heisman is going to shake out as Pavia winning it, Mendoza at number 2, Love, and Rodriguez. That's going to be your 4 in New York.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's either going to be Pavia or Mendoza. Julian Sayin just didn't do enough in this game, and Fernando Mendoza hitting the touchdown throw, and then that one at the end of the game, the 3rd down, 33-yard pass. It's
He's
either going to be,
clutch.
it's either going to be Pavia or Mendoza. For Mendoza's ridiculous interview after the game, maybe we should knock him down a few points.
That's why I have him in number 2.
But it's going to be one of those
I
two.
actually still really like the kid. Like he's awesome.
Yeah. Just my personal list. So I do have Pavia at 1, Mendoza at 2, though. To me, those are really interchangeable. 3, Jacob Rodriguez. Come on, man. Another 13 tackles. Great team. And then 4, I've got Julian Sayin. He's still set the FBS record for completion percentage in a season. And then 5, Jeremiah Love. Best running back in the country by far. Probably the most talented player out of all of these guys here.
Yeah.
So.
Because if it was really giving the award to the best player in the country, it'd be Jeremiah Smith.
Yes. The most talented player. Yeah, by far.
Absolutely.
So that's it, man.
All right. Well, let us know what you thought of this weekend in chat and in the comments. Hit us up on social media, X, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, at Nitro CFB.
Last thing, I guess there was a couple questions in the comments. Maybe, let's see. Okay. Somebody asked, Notre Dame needs a conference. What conference would you have them joining? I mean, well, they're in the ACC and everything else, but the only problem there is the ACC is, is a little bit unstable right now. The long-term future. I mean, right now it makes sense, but let's be honest. If teams keep joining and the ACC breaks up, the conference structure is going to change again anyway. But in the short term, they should just be in the ACC because the ACC has 17 schools right now. They'd be the 18th. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
what other questions we have?
I think that might be it. So anyway, well, like I said, the postseason, the playoff season, the bowl season is upon us. That's all we've got left. So this is kind of the end of the regular weekly college football season for us. Obviously, before we know it, the playoffs will be here. So obviously we don't have games this weekend in the playoff race, but we do the next week. So next week, our shows will have our college football playoff first round preview in it. And we'll probably talk some, fallout from who wins the Heisman. We'll talk a little Army Navy as well. You think, you got anything for this week? Or are we going to do a later show this week?
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Okay. So
if there's something to predict this weekend, we should predict it.
I mean, it's Army Navy is the only thing. Who you got?
Navy.
Yeah, last year I took Navy. I think Navy last year Army was the better team coming in. I think this year Navy's the better team coming in. So I'm going to pick Navy again as well.
Well, there you go. Full show. Right. Done.
Yep.
We appreciate everybody watching tonight. If you're watching us live right now, do us a favor, hit that subscribe button. We'll be back every week, nonstop, rain or shine. Might be one of us, might be both of us, might be AI. We don't know.
Yeah, tell a friend. If you're subscribed but you like the show, tell a friend. Shoot a link over, and we're trying to build towards 500 subscribers. I know a lot of these other podcasts are talking about hitting 500,000 million. We're just trying to get to 500. So help your boys out. Have a good weekend, the rest of the week. And until next time, I'm Streit.
I'm Burl.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.